Hi guys, and welcome to the Gone To series. In the first tutorial, we went through the complete overview of Spring Framework, which is very much needed to start off with Spring. In this, we will understand the term dependency injection in detail. I've divided the tutorial in two parts. In part 1, we will understand the problems if we do not use a technique like dependency injection. And in part 2, we will understand what is Spring's TI framework and the different ways of using it. Let's start with what problems we face which force us to use the Spring's dependency injection framework. We will consider an example of a restaurant class which needs a T class for preparing a hot drink programmatically. The classes look great and perform great. Calling prepare hot drink function of the restaurant class will prepare tea using T object. But such a design may make future maintenance quite problematic for you, and that's only because you are creating or instantiating T object inside restaurant class using a new operator. And because of this, the restaurant class has a direct dependency on the T class, or is so much tightly coupled with the T class that it will attract a lot of troubles to you in future maintenance of the project. Let's look at three major problems you may face using such a design. What if you decide to replace T class in the project with its better version class, that is Express T, and for this you will need to replace T object with an Express T object in the restaurant class. So in general, the problem is if you are going to replace a class with some other class in your project, you will need to modify all classes in the project which have a direct or strong dependency on this class. In big software projects, you really cannot afford making a lot of changes in many classes just because you are going to replace one class with its better version class. It will cost a lot of development time and more than that, enormous testing efforts. Similarly, if you are just modifying T class in the project and nothing else, you may need to modify the restaurant class as well. For example, if you are going to parameterize the constructor of the T class, you will surely need to modify the restaurant class. Testing of individual classes is like a nightmare using such a design. You cannot test restaurant class without including the T class. So in general, the problem is you cannot test a class in your project without including its dependencies. In simple words, testing of such projects using JUnit or similar frameworks is a very big pain. Problems are only for one reason. A restaurant class has a direct dependency on the T class. You are creating an object inside another class using new operator and consequently making restaurant class so much tightly coupled with the T class. If there is some technique or a design suggestion with which a restaurant class just uses the T object without mentioning T object anywhere in it, we would surely remove the direct dependency and overcome all such problems. Yes, you heard it right. You will not mention T object inside the restaurant class and still the restaurant class will use T object to prepare tea. And the framework which helps you in making this possible is the dependency injection framework. It says never create an object inside another Java class using a new operator. I will create all objects along with their dependencies in your application and you just use them. The framework is so excellent that you really overcome all such problems using it with less code, more readable code and more maintainable code. In the next part, we will understand the Spring's dependency injection framework and then how to use it by improving the restaurant and T classes design using it.